In this video, we're going to explore 10 potential signs that your husband might be cheating on you with a younger woman. Now, confronting infidelity is incredibly difficult, but being aware of these signs can offer some much-needed clarity. Sign number 1: sudden changes in appearance. While self-improvement is generally a positive thing, a sudden, drastic shift in his grooming habits, wardrobe, or how often he goes to the gym, especially if it seems out of character, could signal that he's trying to impress someone new. Consider the context and how consistent these changes are. A one-off effort to look nice for a special occasion is very different from a sustained, ongoing effort to alter his appearance. Secretive grooming rituals or vague answers when you ask about new products might also be a cause for concern. Timing is also crucial. If these changes coincide with increased absences from home or a new circle of friends that you don't know, it could suggest that these changes are aimed at someone else. Having open, non-confrontational conversations about what you've observed can be very revealing. Sign number 2: secretive communication habits. In today's digital age, an increase in the amount of time someone spends on their phone or computer, especially if it's a sudden change, can be a red flag. This might indicate that they are seeking connection or interaction elsewhere. Frequently stepping out of the room to take calls or being secretive about who he's messaging can suggest more personal digital interactions that he's not sharing with you. Also, consider changes in his routine, such as staying up late glued to his screen or appearing preoccupied and constantly checking his phone, even during meals or when you're spending time together. Heightened secrecy, such as changing passwords or becoming defensive when you casually ask about his online activity, can also be a cause for concern. Remember to approach this situation with empathy and consider having an open conversation with him about your observations and how they make you feel. If your concerns persist even after talking, seeking professional guidance from a counselor or therapist can be very helpful. Sign number 3: changes in his schedule. Noticeable shifts in his routine, such as increased late nights at work or new work or social commitments, can be a sign. Pay close attention to how he communicates these changes to you. Vague details or a lack of transparency, especially if this is new behavior, can be suspicious. Observe his reaction when you ask him questions about his time. Does he become defensive or evasive? That can be a red flag. Also, take note of any discrepancies or inconsistencies in his stories. While increased commitments can be perfectly legitimate, having an open discussion about your observations is still very important. Sign number 4: emotional distance. A noticeable decrease in intimacy or affection, especially if it's an abrupt change, can be concerning. Intimacy encompasses both physical and emotional connection. If he seems distant, less interested in spending quality time with you, or emotionally detached, it might suggest that he is getting those needs met elsewhere. Affection that once felt natural, now feeling forced or obligatory, can also be an indicator. Pay attention to how he responds when you attempt to initiate intimacy. Consistent avoidance or vague excuses can be a sign. Defensive reactions when you bring up the subject of your diminishing closeness can also be telling. Remember to trust your instincts and maintain open communication. Sign number 5: financial discrepancies. Unexplained expenses or missing money from your shared accounts can be a subtle yet very telling sign. Unusual charges on your credit card statement, or finding less money in a joint account than you expected, especially if he becomes defensive or evasive when you question him about these expenses, can suggest that he is hiding something. Consider why these financial discrepancies might be occurring. Maintaining a relationship outside of your marriage can incur significant costs, whether it's through gifts, dining out, or travel expenses. The act of hiding transactions can create a barrier of mistrust between partners. If you find yourself in this situation, it's important to approach the matter with care and clarity. Sign number 6. Overly critical or emotionally distant behavior. When your husband starts becoming overly critical of you or displays increased emotional distance, it can raise some serious red flags. When a partner suddenly starts finding fault in everything you do, it can be perplexing and hurtful, especially if this behavior is out of character for him. This kind of criticism can sometimes serve as a distraction, diverting attention away from his own actions. Emotional distance can be equally disconcerting. When communication drops off significantly, or when he seems preoccupied with his phone or social media, it can feel like you're living with a stranger. Sign number 7. Changes in social media behavior. In today's digital age, social media can offer insights into someone's personal life. If your husband is potentially being unfaithful, his social media activity could offer some subtle clues. Pay attention to his friends list. Has he recently added a significant number of new, younger female friends? While expanding one's social circle isn't unusual, a sudden influx of new connections, especially if they're predominantly younger women, might be worth a second glance. Also, consider his posting habits. Has he started sharing new types of content or changed the frequency of his posts? If he's posting more frequently or has become more secretive by restricting who can view his posts, these changes can be red flags. Sign number 8. Comparing you to younger women. In relationships, subtle changes in behavior can sometimes reveal deeper issues. One such red flag that might signal infidelity is when your husband starts comparing you to younger women. This behavior can be particularly telling and emotionally painful, as it often highlights a shift in his attraction or interest. If your husband casually or persistently remarks on how you measure up to younger women, this could be a sign of dissatisfaction or a desire for something different. Sign number 9. Mood changes after outings. Have you noticed a sudden spike in his happiness or an unusual sense of guilt upon returning from certain excursions? These shifts in behavior can be significant. If your husband comes back from outings beaming with an unusual amount of joy, it could be because he has experienced something or someone that has sparked that happiness. On the flip side, guilt can manifest in many ways. If you observe your husband acting more affectionate than usual or, conversely, being distant and withdrawn, these could be signs of a guilty conscience. Sign number 10. Remember the bigger picture. It's important to remember that the signs we've discussed are just potential indicators, not definitive proof of infidelity. Relationships are complex, and behaviors can have multiple interpretations. If you've noticed some of these signs in your relationship, it doesn't necessarily mean your husband is cheating. There are many factors that can influence behavior. Therefore, it's crucial to approach this topic with sensitivity and an open mind. Communication is the cornerstone of any healthy relationship. If you suspect something is amiss, the first step is to have an open and honest conversation with your husband.